All right, good afternoon. We are here with Tyler Rothrock. Tyler is a comedian. I know he's a native to the Lehigh Valley. He moved away to New York for a little while, but then he was drawn back to the Valley um, for various reasons. So he started the comedy plots at Music Fest, the big music festival that takes place there in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I know he does a lot of work with Arts Quest and the comedy scene here. I actually met Tyler through open mics when I moved here, and we've become friends. But beyond that, he just does great things for our community, and so we're happy to have him with us today. So thanks for joining us, Tyler.
Oh, Bree, that's such a nice introduction. That's came from your heart,
Yeah,
which
and
I
I did
appreciate.
I didn't even talk about the thing that we're actually here to talk about today, which I think a lot of people don't know about you, which I was actually impressed by you in the golf scene. So I put up my little prop
There you
here. So
go.
it
Yeah,
kind of
I like them. I
sets,
like your. I do notice that you have the ball. You got to get the ball retriever out of the bag,
that's my favorite club.
but that's setting you up. That means you're gonna hit in the water. You can't even have that there.
I'm ready. I don't like, golf is already kind of an expensive sport. So if I can avoid losing golf balls, then that's the
All
thing for
right,
me.
fine, fine, fine.
But anyway, Tyler, so I know you've done a lot of work with podcasts here locally. You've been on podcasts elsewhere, and you started up kind of a new thing that I've taken note of called Teed Up. So, do you want
Mm.
to talk a little bit about what this new endeavor is and how we can all kind of take part in it?
Yeah. So, like everybody else, when COVID happened, I was sitting at home by myself doing nothing a lot, and I'm a big fan of golf. I've played golf my whole life, and I've always looked for ways to combine entertaining and comedy with golf. And I thought, well, I'll just start a podcast. And for the people that don't know, when I lived in New York, I worked at a golf store, a retail golf store in Manhattan. And uh, I've worked in like the golf industry for a long time, and almost everybody I've met in golf is like a pretty unique, wild person with some crazy stories. And you wouldn't think that about golf. You would think a lot of people that don't know golf think it's kind of stuffy and stiff, but it's not, especially people that work in golf. So I
Okay.
wanted to share some of those stories and try to figure out a way to, you know, grow the game in my own way, I
Okay.
guess.
And do you offer, is it like tips or advice or,
Zero tips. Do not come to me for golf tips.
I will say
It's
that's one of
it's
the most annoying things. When I go out to the golf course, whether I'm at the driving range or if I'm actually playing, and people will volunteer their tips
uh
and tricks on me. So I'm actually
yeah.
glad that you say no, no,
No,
no.
no, I never. That's the worst thing you could do to somebody. That's if you're playing against somebody, then you start doing that because that's how you can get in their head. But if I'm playing with
Okay,
some friends, like even if they ask me, like, "Hey, man, what am I doing here?" Like, I think maybe this is happening, but I don't know. I'm not a golf pro,
yeah, yeah.
so no, I
Okay.
give no tips, no advice. The only advice I give is to don't break clubs, and I've had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet, but mine have a lot of bend to them, so maybe that's why they just bend back. Discover Lehigh Valley. We represent tourism in the area and all the tourism assets that are within the valley. So one of the things that kind of rose to the surface in the past couple of months were people seeking to do outdoor activities, and golf was one of the things that people were able to do throughout the summer, especially here in the valley. And Lehigh Valley has a ton of courses. So do you have any courses in particular that you lean towards or like to go to, and maybe some of the reasons why you picked one over the other?
Yeah, yeah. Obviously the public courses are where I go mostly. Sometimes I'll be lucky enough to be invited to. I have a friend that is a member at Saucon, so I'll get to play there every once in a while, which is you never pass that up, obviously. But for the most part, I'm playing public golf, and um, I will say this about the Lehigh Valley. I've had friends visit from areas like closer to Philly or out of town, and our public golf is like better than almost everywhere else, especially our municipal golf.
Mhm.
Allentown Municipal is in like great shape. Bethlehem Municipal is in great shape. I have like a bias towards Green Pond, which is a public golf course in Bethlehem, because when I played at Northampton Community College, that was our home course. So we just got to go play whenever we wanted. And
So
I like
you
to
played
have,
golf at Northampton?
I played golf at Northampton. So I played golf at Northampton.
See, your
It was,
resume is building, Tyler. Every time I talk to you, I
but
learn
the
new
thing
things about
about,
you.
so anybody could have played golf. It was a community college golf. So I was just on the team to fill a spot. I didn't compete in any of the tournaments. I wasn't good enough, but I still got to reap all the benefits. So me and my friend, it hurt my academics for sure, because the Northampton Community College's campus is like a mile from Green Pond Golf Country Club. And we would just, as if you're on the golf team, you could just go sign your name and just play for free. So me and
Okay.
my buddies on the golf team would do that instead of going to class like the majority of the day.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I have a that's my favorite place to go because I played so much there. And that's where the Lehigh Valley Amateur is, which is like my favorite week. Maybe aside from Music Fest, it's my favorite week of the year.
Okay. And so you play in that one.
I don't play in it. I go and watch.
You go and
I
watch.
like
Okay.
I go watch, and I have a lot of friends that play in it, and they set it up. I might every year I plan to play in it, but I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not good enough.
But this
But
year you're playing in a pro-am, right?
I've played in pro-ams. This is
Okay.
all amateurs though.
Okay.
So, and it's like the pro John Callhammer sets it up, and his staff, they set it up like a tour event. There's like tents, there's fans. I don't know what it's gonna be like this year with that, but it's so cool. It's so fun, and like you can just walk on and follow people like it's a PGA tour. It's super cool.
That is cool. I know when in one of the previous destinations I represented, we hosted the Wells Fargo Championship.
Yeah,
And it's pretty amazing how interactive golf tournaments can be. You know, when you have
yeah,
people who they don't know a lot about the sport, they think it's boring to watch on TV. I'm like, you got to go out to a true
oh
event because it is so much fun and there's so much energy and excitement
yeah.
and so yeah.
There's
Have you
nothing
ever been?
better to. Yeah, yeah. I love going to pro events. That's one of my favorite things to do every year. I do comedy shows. The same week every year, I do a show in like it's called Flagler Beach in Florida, and it's kind of close to Orlando. And there's a LPGA tour event with like celebrity. It's like it's their tournament of champions.
Okay.
It's like one of their kickoff tournaments, and I go to that tournament every year, and I love it. Like it's just so you could just walk. Like it's like warm. You can
Mhm.
walk. You're outside. Get a beer here. Get a hot dog over there. It's just one of my favorite
Yeah.
things to do.
Yeah, it's a good day out. So how far have you yourself traveled to go play a golf course?
Um. Well, I mean, I've been every vacation I play, so I didn't
Okay.
go. I won't go specifically to play golf, but um, yeah, I've gone on like golf trips and stuff like Myrtle Beach. Like
Okay.
I used to live in Myrtle Beach. I lived in Myrtle Beach for like a month and a half.
Now, what were you doing down there?
I went to a golf academy for a month and a
Ah,
half.
okay.
Yeah,
Now,
and
where did your love for golf and the game start?
I think it's always I've always loved playing golf. Like even when I was like a little kid. But the thing is, back then, like it wasn't a cool sport. Like
Mm,
like you didn't. It wasn't just cool to play. So then as I got like towards high school, I gravitated towards like basketball. But and then I kind of came back to golf because
mhm,
it's like you can do it. You don't have to be super in shape, which is a
mm.
thing I like to
It
not
is.
be in. I like to not be in shape, Bree, as we know.
So, throughout the past couple of months, have you been out more playing golf than maybe you were before? Has it allowed you to do that or kind of
Yeah,
equal?
yeah. This summer when I lived in New York, I didn't play golf hardly. Hardly played any golf. And when you work in golf, that's a big misconception. If you work in golf, people think that you're always playing, but sometimes the last thing you want to do is be at a golf course. But this year, I especially with like the podcast, and I've been doing this thing on Instagram where I'll post a picture of a hole and I let people guess where I hit the ball. And so now I feel like pressure to keep posting those things because I'll get messages like, "Yo, were you not playing this week?" So I've been playing a lot more, and I kind of like refell in love with the game.
Yeah.
And out of love, I fall out. It's a love-hate thing we got going on, me
Gosh,
and golf.
I am the same way. Some weeks I'm so on, and then I want to go to the driving range every day. And then, if I have a bad time out at the driving range, then I'm off for 3 weeks. And then I go back.
That's a good way to do it, though. That's what you're like. I'm going to take a week or two off because I've just been playing really bad.
Yeah.
So I'm going to step away. Let it miss me.
Yeah.
That's what you were right. If you love something, you got to let it go. And if it comes, that's what I'm doing with golf right now. We'll see if golf comes back to me.
So you're taking on a new endeavor with golf too. So you're getting into some content writing for golf and Golf Pennsylvania. So just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know to what extent it's going to appear. The editor came into the golf store I was working at with a stack of papers, and I said I wanted to write an article for him, and he said, send me something. So
he said, I like your go-getter attitude.
He's like, I like your moxie. Is what he said. Is that even, that's not a word, is it?
I never heard it, but maybe it's golf jargon.
No, it's not golf jargon. But I'm going to write about, like we were saying earlier, there's so much good golf in like a 20-mile radius to where we are. Like, I can't even, there's so many golf courses like in the immediate area, like probably over 20.
And that's what we even try to do is we have golf courses within our region and even just outside of the valley, but they truly are assets to their tourism assets to our destination. And what we try to do is kind of curate an experience or itinerary. So should someone come in from out of town, play a golf course, and they can go and do other things. So if you have someone per se visiting you from out of town, they don't know much about the area, what kind of day, of course, focus, you play golf, but what kind of day would you kind of curate so that they can experience Lehigh Valley?
Yeah, we would probably play golf maybe in the morning. Although I'm a big fan of afternoon golf. I like, that, like the twilight stuff, because it's just fun playing golf and it's less crowded. But if I was bringing a friend or somebody to introduce them to the Lehigh Valley and we wanted to include golf, we'd play Green Pond in the morning because then I could win because I know the course very well. And probably hit Main Street Bethlehem or maybe go downtown Easton for some dinner. And I mean, it all depends. Is it during the COVID times? You could still do that. That hasn't stopped. And maybe, find some live music somewhere, something like that.
Okay.
But there's so many good, like, good golf right next to good food. That's a big component. Like the Bethlehem Municipal Golf Course, the golf course is very fun. And then right on the site, the Clubhouse Grill is like one of my favorite places to eat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I think even people like, I've gone on golf trips, and like you get on a plane, you fly, and you spend at least a half a day traveling to some location to play golf. You don't have to leave. Like you could do you could just stay here and play, like a different course every week of the summer,
right?
Or at least every month. Do a different course every month. There's just so many good places.
Tyler, the reason we kind of had you on today is, like I said, you're a friend of mine. I know you've done work with Lehigh Valley with Love in the past, and you had us on the show, Discover Lehigh Valley, and we got to kind of tell our story about what we do for tourism. And so I kind of wanted to return the favor and see what was cooking in your world. And you've obviously made just great use of your time during the
I don't know
pandemic.
about
And
that. I don't know if I made great. There's a lot of time. My screen time is up on my phone like by like 40%. So I don't know if I totally made great use of the time, but
well,
I
you've got
appreciate
some
that.
new things with the podcast teed up. So where can folks go and listen to that podcast?
There you could find it on all the social media sites like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's at Teed Up Pod. It's also on wherever you find audio podcasts, so you
Okay.
could get it there, and it's on YouTube. So there, what we do, it's kind of like what we're doing right now.
Okay.
We
Good.
sit down virtually with guests. That's what we do
Good.
now in
That's the
2020.
way of the world. And I know
Mm-hmm.
you've got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline maybe this fall to rank some golf courses in the area. So we'll definitely stay tuned to
Yeah,
that. As well as your comedy scene. I know you've got a show coming up with Arts Quest. You're doing stuff in downtown Allentown with City Center, so you're staying busy on that
yeah.
front. So just thanks for everything you do for
And
the.
I'm in a pilot too with writer Chris Freed, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah,
coming up too. Collecting. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I also we're the co-host of the stand-up show in Allentown.
yeah.
So I call him K Doggy.
Okay.
That's
Well,
my.
we'll look out for you and K Doggy on that front.
Yeah, I think you can watch. There's a trailer out for Collecting now. I think you could just find it at YouTube, on YouTube or Facebook. It's pretty
Good.
good.
Yeah, we'll definitely look it up. So thanks for all that you've done to promote the Lehigh Valley and what you continue to do, and we appreciate you here. People ask me what I'm most surprised by about the valley since I moved here is I always say it's the talent pool of creative people, and you're one of those people to me.
Oh,
You're always
Bree.
doing something, and then when I found out you're such a golf guy, it's been fun to kind of learn about what you're
Your
doing
check is in the
in that
mail.
realm.
Thank you for
Yeah,
saying that. I will.
good. Great. I'll be looking for it. Well, good. Well, Tyler, thanks again, and we appreciate you.
We got to get you on the Teed Up. We got to get you on the podcast, the Teed Up podcast.
I'll be there. I'll get
Yeah.
my clubs are ready.
I know. Just got to get that ball retriever out of there.
Yeah.
Bad juju. That's
Yeah.
bad thoughts. You can't. It's like you can't mention. If you look at the water, I've noticed in my experience, if I look at the water or the sand trap, and I say, "Don't hit it in the water," I always hit it in the water.
I know.
So if you have the ball retriever,
it's like
those negative thoughts.
In life, you have to visualize where you want to be, and
Yeah.
it's all about managing that vision and the stepping stones that it takes to get there, and that's whatever.
But if you
have so.
my thing, if you have something in
Great.
your bag,
We're starting the Teed Up podcast right now, basically.
I know. But my point is, if you have a ball retriever for the water in your bag, that's already putting it in your mind that you might hit it in there. Take that thought completely out. It's not even possible. You don't need that retriever. It's not going near the water.
Okay. Maybe I will adopt this philosophy. All right, Tyler. Good talking with you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
All right.